Hello, beautiful beings. I am gonna be honest. It's been a rough night for me. It's actually 3:57 in the morning when I am recording this. I have actually not been to sleep yet. And I'm not 100% sure where this video is going to go. I just know that it needs to be recorded and posted as soon as I'm done with it before I even really get a chance to think about it. And I'm just going to flow with it and let it be what it needs to be and honor that. When I started this channel, one of the biggest downloads I got about it was that it was really important that I be real on it, meaning I didn't need to be polished, things didn't need to be perfect, to really just show up and show up consistently and really honor my truth and honor my path. And I really do all that I really can to make sure that I stay true to that because I was told whoever is attracted to my channel, that is something that they really need. And I think this video has a lot to do with honoring that, staying true to myself, and hopefully delivering a message that someone needs to hear one day. Um, I need y'all to guide me with this because I'm trying to follow the call. I always knew that that I was really here to help people. I don't always love people. No, I should take that back. I love people. I'm really good at seeing the best in people. I don't always like people. Sometimes they act in ways where, I just have to remind myself, it's like, girl, at the end of the day, you really do love people, and you do want to help those who are interested in being the best versions of themselves, find their way, you know, find their way there. And I always felt that way even before I had my spiritual awakening. And, you know, some of you really want to know more about me and my journey, and to a certain extent, you'll get some of that in this. But I just feel like this just needs to be shared. And so I'm just going to dive in, and where it goes is where it goes. But so I always knew I wanted to help people. When I had my spiritual awakening, I think it started in 2020. I just had some things that happened to me energetically that I didn't understand at the time, but it wasn't until May 23rd of, I think it's 20, was it 20? No, 2023. May 23rd, 2023 was the day I really accepted that I was genuinely having my spiritual awakening and that this was all very real. And also just accepting the fact that I knew my life was never going to be the same from that moment on. And down the road, I had gotten the download that I was really here to be a guide, that I was here to go through my own experience and then to turn around and help others who were going through their journey as well. And this doesn't mean that you need to be having a spiritual awakening, right? This could just be a growth journey for you. It could be a self improvement journey, right? Not everyone identifies with the spiritual path, and that's totally fine. But in my opinion, all are welcome here. You could show up, decide I'm full of shit, and leave, and that's totally fine. I don't care. You have free will. If that's where you want to land, that's perfectly fine. Um, and I was actually really excited about that at the time because, again, it just felt so true to who I was and frankly, who I still am at my essence. And I have to be honest, I really had no idea how that was going to impact my life from that moment on. And, it really led. Some of you really want to know what happened to me. And to put it very simply, I had an entire life collapse in a very short period of time. A life that I really loved at one point. I had spent essentially 10 years of my life building. And I watched all that shit crash and burn. They're saying it was about a year, about a year. Just the whole thing gone, job gone. Um, Friend group, which I've never had a big group of friends. I've always had a small group of friends, but I had to walk away from them too. And just really had my eyes open to the reality of the life that I was living and how unsustainable it was. And even though I did not want to see any of that go, I knew that I couldn't stay. And it was just really devastating, really devastating. Um, a job I had been at for 10 years, I was laid off, which was really a blessing in disguise because it was just so awful for my mental health there. And, with it's just crazy how once you start seeing certain things, you just can't unsee them, So I knew even before I got let go of my job that I didn't belong there. I just didn't know where to pivot to. I had no idea what the next steps were. And so, um, my family dynamics were already shifting at that time. Um, and I really realized in all aspects of my life that I was the stabilizer for all these groups, meaning I was the one who energetically took on a lot of other people's shit so that everyone else could stay stable and things could keep functioning. And that was for work, that was for friends, that was for family. And I didn't understand it at the time. I just knew I had a level of burnout that I didn't think was possible for a person to have and to actually function with. And so when things really started to crumble, particularly after I lost my job, I really just needed to take a time out from the world. I couldn't, whatever it was, I couldn't. And, that was just the beginning. If I'm being really honest, the job was just the beginning because after that, I had to walk away from my group of friends because I realized that we were just looping. We were just doing the same things over and over again. And when I told them about my spiritual awakening and how I realized that I had mediumship gifts, um, and I'm not angry about this, I just have to kind of laugh now, but like, how do you tell someone you're a psychic and you have mediumship abilities and like you two want to go off and like talk shit about it? Like, what makes you think my guides and my ancestors aren't gonna tell me about that? Right? Like you're being supportive in my face, but you're keying at my expense in the background. Like, no, babies, file that under shit we're not doing. So I walked away from that too. And then I had to step back from my family. I don't really talk to anyone in my family right now. Um, I haven't cut anyone off, but we are definitely estranged because when I stepped out of that role, that whole dynamic, like that system just collapsed. And at one point, I was staying away because it needed to rebuild without me being in that role. And I knew that meant I had to stay away. And there's definitely some family members who are upset that I stepped out of that role because I am forcing people to hold their own things and to really deal with the reality of what that system actually is. And I went on a very serious healing journey. And how serious I am talking about, not only have I been working very hard on clearing my karma, cleaning up all that shit, um, going back and getting all the fragments of myself, healing those versions of me, integrating those pieces back in. I mean, if you're on the spiritual path, it's been the whole fucking enchilada, right? Because not all the karma that you've got on your plate is necessarily yours. If you know, you know. And so there's a lot of cleanup that needs to be done. And so I did that. There is not a single part of this body I have not purged things out of: bone, blood, marrow, skin, joints, muscles, the amount of bracing that I have actually even recently released from this body. I don't understand how I function on a day-to-day basis. I have released earthbound ancestors. I have cleansed my bloodline and I continue to do all that stuff. It has been very intense and it was very scary because I was not employed. While I was doing that, I understood that I needed to really focus on doing this work and getting that done and really moving in faith that if I did that, that I would eventually, at some point, be able to, for my tarot people, turn the wheel, you know, move the wheel of fortune back into my favor. And I did that for about 2 years. It's actually probably a little bit more now. And I really have tried very hard, to not complain about that and really just kind of accept it's part of the process that I needed to go through in order to get to this point where I have my channel. I could be that guide. I could talk about experiences from a different point of view and really be able to connect with people the way people really need to be seen, heard, and felt. And I don't regret any of that. And I don't want anyone to think this video is me complaining about my path because it's really not. But one of the things I don't think we do enough, or at least that I haven't seen enough, is really talking about what it's really like for some of us to be on this path, right? Because I don't expect everyone's journey to necessarily be like mine. It's really, you cannot compare these journeys. We all have our own history. We have our own things that we deal with. We all have different things that we're trying to heal. Even if it's the same topic, there's different aspects for people. There's no way to really cookie cutter this. And I just don't. I think sometimes it's easy to get caught up in the idea of, toxic, what I consider toxic positivity, right? Just persist, 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 right? It's gonna shift. It has to shift, all that stuff. I think that is a beautiful aspect of this journey, right? Because I know I know who I am. I am not who you're looking at. I am not the way I identify in this experience. I actually know who my essence is. I know for a fact I am a divine being having a human experience. And I also don't think we talk about how challenging that can really be, right? Because if I'm being really honest, part of the reason why I am recording this video is because I have I've known I have a fear of being seen, and I always thought it was being seen in a physical sense. And I'm recognizing now as I'm recording this that I actually have a fear of being seen in more of a vulnerable sense. Like this video, like I would never show up for a video looking like this, talking about this aspect of my journey if I did not feel called to do it. And honestly, if there was a shot I had of being able to fall asleep instead of making this video, I would have done that instead. But I know who I am. I know how powerful I am. And I know that shit needs to shake. Why? Because I already said it. I intended it. I know who I am. I know my power. All of that stuff. I really do practice what I preach in my videos. Why? Because that's just how I roll. That's who I am. I'm not going to be here telling you things that I don't use or from things that I just randomly heard. Like, no, I really go through that tried and tested method. If I don't buy into it and it doesn't feel right to me, I wouldn't be sharing it. Because again, I just don't, I don't know. It's just, that's not who I am at my core. And, you know, I think what we really need to be honest about is you can know how powerful you really truly are and wholeheartedly believe in that and still have very real challenges with this human experience, right? Like it's honestly, it's something I'm still trying to balance out within myself, and clearly I haven't done it yet. I'm still trying, but you know, I'm not gonna lie, it didn't occur to me when I was told I was gonna be a guide that I would part of prepping for that would be pushed to what felt like was the absolute limit again and again and again and again. I have felt fear that was so strong, I had to lay on the ground, like just try to ground myself as much as possible. It was just so pervasive. I could feel my blood pumping in my ears. My heart was racing so fast. I thought my heart was going to stop. And just literally having to tell myself, breathe in and breathe out while I was laying on the floor. You know, I have just been through experiences that I wouldn't wish on anyone. And just trying to work through it, knowing that I was doing it not only for my greatest and highest good, but for others, that there would be purpose in this. And you know, I have just diligently worked through that, and I just had, you know, I had recently talked to my friend because I could see the timelines. I can literally see the timelines of all the beautiful shit that is waiting for me. And It's right there. Like it's right there. I can see it. Oh my God. You guys are probably gonna make me cry on camera. I hate this. Um, it's right there. And I had talked to shit. I had talked to a friend of mine who's also just so beautiful. So beautiful. We go back lifetimes. And I love Sis so much. And I don't know if she's gonna watch this video or not. But if you do, I love you so much, Sis. Thank you for walking this journey with me because you know it's been rough. We've been in the trenches together, and I know we're coming out of the trenches together, and it's going to be so beautiful when we do. But I had talked to her very recently, and she had told me that I had done it, that I had worked through what I needed to work through, that I was in a timeline that I had created, and this is where all the shit was gonna shift. Basically, like reaping the harvest that I had planted for those 2 years. And she had told me that my guides told me that I needed to do something different with my appearance so that I could get over my fear of vulnerability. And, you know, that would actually help things shift for me. And I don't know why I went to, like, I had my hair appointment. I was really excited about it. I was going to do something different. I was going to play and I was going to just try something. And I did genuinely love that hair color for like 2 days. And after that, I just, like, it just slowly dawned on me. I was like, this isn't working. Like, I don't know what in the chameleon shit this hair color is. It looks completely different in different lighting. And I mean completely different. The shade shifts. And I was like, oh my God, I can't put a look together for this because I can't accommodate the way this hair color shifts. And I know this sounds so silly, but I'm gonna honor what I feel because I feel like someone really needs to hear this. But and I just realized like I made the wrong decision. And like mentally I know it's not a big deal because it's just a hair color and I can fix it. Like I already texted my hairdresser and I was like, we're gonna have to fix this. Like I'm not gonna be like I put it very nicely, but I was like, we have to undo this to the extent that we can, you know, when it's safe to actually do it. Like my hair is fine. I just don't like the color of it. But I just had a moment tonight where I got really scared that me fucking up my hair color actually like threw off the timelines of when that shit was supposed to come in because I actually know around the time frame they're supposed to come in. And there was something about that, even though I know that's probably not true. There was something about that that just really broke me emotionally and psychologically because I had just worked so hard and I had sacrificed so much along the way. And I know it was stuff that wasn't aligned with me, but it doesn't mean it wasn't hard doing that. You know, and I've walked this path mostly alone. I have really, in a lot of ways, suffered in silence and just focused on how to alchemize that and how to just keep moving forward. And just the thought of being like that fucking close and making one stupid human mistake, just punted that shit out to I don't even know what, just hurt so fucking bad. It hurts so bad. And you know, it's just it just really threw me through a loop. That's actually why I haven't even been to sleep yet. Because I know what I'm processing isn't just tied to this. This goes way back. This is ancient. Like, I've had to deal with this. This is just kind of, it's almost like the straw that like breaks the camel's back, you know? Like, I know this is something that needs to be released. This is something that needs to be processed. And I am trying to honor that. And, again, I know I'm powerful enough where like fucking up a hair color shouldn't be enough to derail all the hard work I've done over the last 2 years. And yet, like, here I am, it's, and it's just really hard sometimes to hold this paradox of knowing that things still have to shake, and also just really having moments where this experience just really pushes you to the limit. And I know a lot of this is probably just an illusion and that everything's going to be fine, because I just can't accept the fact that I've worked this hard and I have changed this much, and I have just done everything that I have felt called to do when I've been felt called to do it, whether I wanted to do it or not. That it just can't end here, but it just doesn't change certain things, with the physical reality. And I just don't think sometimes we talk about how terrifying it can be to really feel like you are potentially looking at what feels like the end, and it's like, how can I be such a powerful divine being and like looking at this shit like, is this it? Like, is this it? Is this how we bottom out? Is this finally how we bottom out? And it's just, I think we just need to talk about that more and kind of normalize how hard it can be to balance out these two things, right? These challenges that we face here are very real, very real. My bank account has never been this low in my adult life. And I know to an extent I cannot run out of money. It's just not possible. It's not something I accept. But right now, that's a very real possibility. And that is part of what was tied to what was coming in was monetary resources. And I just got to be honest, I had a very spectacular crash out. I don't think I've had a crash out like that in a long time. I think the last time I crashed out that hard was when I was going through a dark night of the soul. I was once again working through a lot of deep-seated fear. And I don't know why, but it popped up on my algorithm that like people weren't washing their asses, particularly guys weren't washing their asses. And I was like, why the fuck am I trudging through like the sludge of my soul? If we got people out here who won't even clean their ass, I literally told my guides, like, stop the planet. I am getting the fuck off. I understand that, like, I accept that we go through a process of forgetting. I was like, I would have remembered this if this was actually part of it. Like, I don't know. It was just something so small that broke me. But yeah, I meant that. I was like, stop the planet. I'm getting off. Fuck that. I cannot believe I am doing this much work on my end and like people just won't do basic hygiene here. Like, I did not, I know I didn't sign up for this. Like, give me a date, a place, a time. If you don't know an exact location, give me some coordinates. I'll find you. I'll find you. Don't worry about it. I'm coming. And like, do you know how hard you have to crash out for your guides and your ancestors to be like, baby, we would never send you anyone who doesn't clean their house. Like, it's just it's a process, and I just really want people to understand that if you really feel like you're going through it, the way you feel is valid. The fear, all of that stuff that's coming up to be processed, that is very real. And I don't want you to give your power away and think you are hopeless and you are helpless, because I really don't believe that, and I know I'm not either, but I just need you to really hang in there, because it is gonna get better. And this doesn't mean just persist. No, you got to process what you feel. You got to honor what you feel. Sometimes it's really hard here. Sometimes we go through things that are just really challenging. And I'm hearing some of us really feel like, some of us really feel like we have been through hell on earth. And they're just saying, if you do feel that way, if you resonate with that, that they want you to honor that, right? Because this is not always easy to do. And balancing the two out, it can be very, very challenging, especially when you know the truth about you. And so I don't want to leave this on this kind of Debbie Downer type of thing. I just want you to understand that you can be a divine being and still have moments in this experience where you really feel like you're being pushed to the brink. Like you really feel like you are potentially collapsing, that you are just being pushed beyond what you really thought was possible. And I just want you to know that it's okay. That it's okay. We're not immune from this experience. You can be both at the same time. And if you really feel like you're going through it right now, they just really want you to have faith in what you've done. And also that silly human mistakes are not going to be able to fully derail what is meant for you. And to really trust that things can work out and that they will work out, and that you are stronger than what you are currently going through. But they just really want you to honor how you feel. And if it's really hard and you got to cry it out, to really let that happen. This is not the time to be bottling shit up. You can know you're powerful as fuck and still have the crash out. And I'm hearing for some of you, the crash outs are divinely guided. If you feel those emotions building up and they want to come out, it's time to let them out. Don't be holding back. I think I'm gonna leave that there. I don't really know the full purpose of this. I'm just gonna trust and post it. So, and if you see me wearing hats in some of my videos, just know I am buying myself time while my hairdresser and I work out getting my hair back to something that I can work with. So, but yeah, hang in there, babies. I know sometimes it gets really tough, but I genuinely believe that we can do it and that we're going to get through it, and it is going to be better. All right. I love you, beautiful beings. Take care of yourselves. Until next time. Bye.